Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Now, for those of you guys subscribed to my channel, you know, leading up to the Pacquiao versus Algieri fight, I talked about this fight. I talked about Bob Arum making this fight extensively. I said on previous videos that Bob Arum is taking a huge gamble, picking an opponent that is relatively unknown for Manny Pacquiao in a pay-per-view fight. And if the gamble didn't pay off, Bob Arum is giving Floyd Mayweather major leverage at the negotiation table. Okay? Keep in mind, it wasn't that long ago when Floyd Mayweather called up Manny Pacquiao and offered him $40 million. There's a reason why Floyd Mayweather called Manny Pacquiao and not Bob Arum. Because Floyd Mayweather always believed that it was Bob Arum that was preventing this fight from happening. Okay? Now, if you guys remember, I also did a video where I talked about the bad news for Manny Pacquiao when it comes to HBO deciding to only do one episode of 24/7 for someone who is supposed to be their biggest star on the network when it comes to boxing. I told you guys that was a bad sign. I told you that HBO, that means even they were expecting poor numbers when it comes to the pay-per-view numbers, of course, right? Now, something else I said in that same video, I think it was the same video, I said the smart thing for Bob Arum would have been to put Manny Pacquiao in the ring with another former Floyd Mayweather opponent and instruct Manny Pacquiao to go in there and beat him more decisively than Floyd Mayweather did, okay? Even though that wouldn't really determine who would win a fight between the two, Mayweather and Pacquiao, what it would do is it would give them a little bit more leverage at the negotiation table. If Manny Pacquiao would have went in the ring against Robert Guerrero, Marcos Maidana, Canelo Alvarez, right? Any of Floyd Mayweather's former opponents and go in there and beat them easy, knock him out, like he did Ricky Hatton, right? If he would have did something like that right before negotiations took place, that would have gave them a little bit more of an edge. Now, I shouldn't say edge, but it would have gave them more leverage. Let's just put it that way, okay? So basically, they may have gotten that 60-40 that they wanted. But now, it is officially proven that Bob Arum and Team Pacquiao's gamble of trying to fight the safest opponent, the most unknown opponent out of all of the many fighters that Pacquiao could have faced, the gamble didn't pay off. Even according to Bob Arum's own estimations and prediction of what the numbers would project, Bob Arum, before the fight, leading up to the fight, he said that this fight was going to generate numbers anything from 750,000 to 900,000 pay-per-views. Now, there's one thing to project these type of numbers and come close. You know, like say, I'm expecting us to get, 900,000 pay-per-views, and then you fall short and you get 700,000 pay-per-views, right? But when you say I'm expecting to get 750 to 900 and you end up getting 300,000, which are the numbers that are being projected right now. And keep in mind, guys, once these numbers hit boxing websites, and I'm talking about major boxing websites, then there is a 99.9999% chance that these numbers are pretty accurate, okay? As you guys can see on the screen right now, boxing businessman Rick Glaser, he was one of the first people to tweet it out and report the projected numbers. And after he reported this, other boxing websites, they reported the news as well. Now, this is where the math gets very interesting, okay? Now, like I said, it's been reported right now, Manny Pacquiao's pay-per-view numbers are barely over 300,000, right? So that means the numbers are closer to 300,000 than they are to 400,000. But first of all, any pay-per-view numbers lower than Manny Pacquiao's previous lowest numbers, which was against Brandon Rios, it is a major disappointment. But I'm going to tell you something right now that's probably going to surprise some of you guys. Now, some of you real boxing heads, you probably already know this math. But if Manny Pacquiao is doing a little bit over 300,000, and he's already supposed to be considered a superstar, he gets these kind of numbers against Chris Algieri, who, by the way, once again, Manny Pacquiao's promoter projected that they would get 750 to 900,000 pay-per-view buys, right? But he doesn't get it. They get half of that. Less than half of that almost. Would it surprise you guys if I told you that before Floyd Mayweather was even a superstar, before he fought against Oscar De La Hoya, he fought against Zab Judah. That fight was right before the De La Hoya fight. And he did close to 400,000 pay-per-views. I believe the numbers was 375,000 pay-per-views, right? Now, what's so interesting about this is, I've said this, I've talked about this on a lot of previous videos. Floyd Mayweather was in the exact same position that Manny Pacquiao is in now. Floyd Mayweather was pound for pound number one, the best fighter in the world, but he was not a big pay-per-view star. He generated numbers like 300,000, 400,000, so on and so forth. So when he goes into negotiations and he fights against Oscar De La Hoya, you know how much money Oscar De La Hoya gave Floyd Mayweather? He gave him like 20% of the pie. 20%, right? Now, Floyd Mayweather could have easily said, hey, I'm not taking this fight, Oscar. You stand to make $100 million, and I'm only going to make like $20 million. I'm not taking this fight, right? He could have easily said that. But did Floyd Mayweather do that? Absolutely not. Why? Because he knew the gamble would pay off. Floyd Mayweather understood if he beat Oscar De La Hoya, he had a very good chance to become the new superstar, right? Just like when you're not the champion and you fight a champion and you become the new champion, Floyd Mayweather became the new pay-per-view champion. When Floyd Mayweather negotiated with Oscar De La Hoya, he got none of the pay-per-view shares, okay? He ended up getting a measly $20 million when Oscar De La Hoya made damn near over $100 million. And once again, Floyd Mayweather's previous pay-per-view buys was 474,000 buys. Manny Pacquiao just did a little over 300,000 pay-per-view buys. So the question is, how is it Manny Pacquiao is not taking $40 million offered to him when Floyd Mayweather was in the exact same situation he was in, and he took less? He took $20 million. How is this possible? How does this make sense? Manny Pacquiao and Manny Pacquiao fans, you have no argument. You have no argument. There's no way you can defend the math or refute it, right? It is simple math that makes sense. Listen, you can't go back 2 years ago and say, oh, well, Pacquiao did this kind of numbers. No, it's what have you done lately? Because we know what Floyd Mayweather has done lately. On Floyd Mayweather's worst pay-per-view nights, he does 800,000 plus pay-per-view buys. More than double of what Manny Pacquiao just received, right? Or produced. When Floyd Mayweather fought against Robert Guerrero, Floyd Mayweather was in the exact same situation that Manny Pacquiao was in fighting against Chris Algieri. The only difference is Floyd was fighting a welterweight. Okay? The story is very similar. Algieri just came off of his biggest win. He won the championship belt fighting Provodnikov, right? Guerrero, he had just came off of his biggest win. He had just beat Andre Berto and won a championship belt. Nobody knew who Robert Guerrero was outside of diehard boxing fans. Okay? Floyd Mayweather still did over 800,000 pay-per-view buys. Manny Pacquiao did over 300,000 pay-per-view buys. All right? And for some of you Manny Pacquiao fans will say, hey, Dante, but Floyd, what would Floyd Mayweather have gotten if he fought against Chris Algieri? What you guys are not understanding is I just made the point. I just proved my point. When Floyd Mayweather fights unknown fighters, he still generates big numbers. Floyd Mayweather's expectations are set far higher than Manny Pacquiao's, right? Once again, a failure of numbers for Floyd Mayweather would be the Robert Guerrero numbers. 850,000 pay-per-views. So once again, man, numbers do not lie. Grown men cry, but numbers don't lie. And a whole lot of you Manny Pacquiao fans and Floyd Mayweather detractors, you're going to cry and you're going to create distractions like you always do, talking about personal shit that has nothing to do with boxing because the truth hurts your feelings. But you can't get mad at the messenger. You should be getting mad at your own fighter. Get mad at Manny Pacquiao. He's the one that's not producing. He's the one that's making your argument more and more difficult. Okay? This proves that Floyd Mayweather, he was right all along. He offered this man $40 million. Floyd Mayweather offered this man more money than he got when he fought against De La Hoya, and he was virtually in the same position that Manny Pacquiao was in. Manny Pacquiao turns down the $40 million. He gets $12 million against Tim Bradley. And you guys have to understand another thing. When you guys hear how much money Manny Pacquiao is getting, we really don't know exactly how much of that money he's getting. We don't know how that money is actually broken down. Okay? But he turned down $40 million and he made $12 million against Tim Bradley. Some say it was $20 million, but once Bob Arum and everybody else got their cut, Manny Pacquiao ended up with $12 million. Whatever it was way less than $40 million. We can establish that fact. Okay? No one disagrees with that. After that, Manny Pacquiao, he loses. He gets knocked out. And when I say after that, I'm talking about after the offer. He loses. He gets knocked out. Now the IRS is after him. All of these problems after he turned down this $40 million. And now things are even worse for him. Because it's what have you done lately when it comes to pay-per-view numbers, when it comes to negotiations. That's what we're looking at. What have you done lately, Pacquiao? 2 out of his 3 last pay-per-views were his lowest numbers since he's been a pay-per-view attraction. All right? So now, Manny Pacquiao, he doesn't deserve more than 20%. He doesn't deserve more than 20%. It should be an 80-20. It should be an 80-20 split, or it should be a 70-30 split at the most. Even you Manny Pacquiao fans can agree with that, right? I mean, you were following me when we were doing all that math, right? Manny Pacquiao just did 300,000 pay-per-view buys. And for some of you Manny Pacquiao fans, once again, that say, well, look who he was fighting. He was fighting Chris Algieri. That's why he shouldn't have been fighting Chris Algieri before going into a Mayweather fight or even going into negotiations, right? Some of you people saying, well, what numbers would Floyd Mayweather do if he fought against Algieri? Floyd Mayweather wouldn't fight Chris Algieri. Floyd wouldn't go down to junior welterweight and fight a guy with 8 knockouts. If you look at who Floyd Mayweather has been facing, he has been doing the contrary. He has been doing the opposite, right? He's been fighting against guys bigger than him with more knockouts than he has. He's not moving down to junior welterweight because he's worried that the guys are too big for him and he may get knocked out. He's fighting against guys 20 pounds bigger than him. And he's staying at welterweight. He ain't going nowhere. But Manny Pacquiao has somewhere to go, right? So that's the, so once again, man, this proves everything that I've been saying and other smart people have been saying that's not talking with emotions. Let me reiterate this point. When Floyd Mayweather fought against Oscar De La Hoya, his pay-per-view numbers prior to the De La Hoya fight, 374,000 pay-per-view buys. Manny Pacquiao's numbers, a little over 300,000, less than what Floyd Mayweather generated before Floyd Mayweather was even a pay-per-view star. Okay? Floyd Mayweather got $20 million when Oscar De La Hoya got over $100 million. I didn't see one single comment, or I didn't hear one single person say, this is ridiculous. If I was Floyd, I wouldn't have took that deal. Oscar stands to make over $100 million, and Floyd Mayweather's only going to make a fraction of that? I wouldn't have took the fight, right? Another thing you guys need to keep in mind, Oscar De La Hoya, to add insult to injury, after Floyd Mayweather beat Oscar De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya, he didn't even have the decency to offer Floyd Mayweather 50-50 in a rematch. Oscar De La Hoya, he purposely negotiated his way out of a fight because he didn't want to fight Floyd Mayweather again. He had even said in interviews after the first fight, it's very difficult, preparing for fighters that are this good, right? And later on, Oscar will go on to say that Floyd Mayweather is arguably the greatest fighter of all time after he's seen what Floyd Mayweather did to Shane Mosley. Okay? So for you people arguing, saying, Oscar, Floyd didn't give him a rematch, and saying real ridiculous shit like Oscar won the fight. Oscar himself, he believes that this man is possibly the greatest fighter of all time. How many rivals do you hear saying that about their own rival? The point is, Floyd Mayweather, he had confidence that he could beat this guy. He got in the ring with him. He understood the payoff, and it paid off. Why didn't Manny Pacquiao believe in his confidence that he could beat this guy when he was offered $40 million? Right? Why didn't Bob Arum put Manny Pacquiao in the ring with Floyd Mayweather if they believed that Manny Pacquiao could truly beat Floyd Mayweather? The gamble would have paid off if he could beat him. So the bottom line is these pay-per-view numbers are terrible. And I can't see Manny Pacquiao getting more than 30% of the cut. 70-30 would seem like it would be generous as far as I'm concerned. That's pretty much all I got. I'm on to the next one.